Alright, so I'm going to try to get through this real fast, real quick. Usually when I record in the mornings, the bandwidth is bad, but at night is great. So I'm going to see how this is going to turn out. So far, last time I left off, so this game could easily be slightly above average, probably 5.86. And so far I left it off at a 4 or 4.1. Actually, I think it was a 4.1, 4.2. I don't remember. I didn't look at it. So I believe it was a 4, um 4 or 4.1. So I'll move forward from that and proceed forward. I could see this game being in the five categories or at most six, but I don't believe this game belongs in the seven category. There are too many things that fell off and too many things that they had from previous games that they removed out of those games. They could have easily added to the mechanics. They subtracted from the mechanics rather than add to the mechanics. And I believe they thought that they were doing the best scenario with regards to the mechanics. And I would say this is where it will go up to 4.1, 4.2 for me. If I didn't have it up before, I believe it was still at the 4 when I left off. But regardless, I'll add at least 3 more points to the game. Actually, at least 2 more points to the game right now to get to 4.2. One, I looked over video, and I saw that the basis for how you do interactivity when it comes to breathing, and contradictory to say Madame Medan or Little Hope. I think they took the idea from Little Hope and implemented it into this game, but they didn't do it for Madame Medan. I believe Madame Medan wasn't a breathing thing in there, or I could be wrong. I think no, I'm wrong. The breathing thing was always in there since Madame Medan, and it'll probably still stay in there. So that part of the game has improved. Where it's different is from Until Dawn. That's where it's different. In Until Dawn, the interactivity when it comes to breathing was far more difficult because you had to keep your controller still, and even if your controller is still, any slight vibrations would knock you off. So the ability to press buttons in order to keep yourself safe is far more easier than to hope and keep a controller still and execute the moves on time. Or some people could say no, but that's even easier because you could just put your controller down and then you will execute the moves. Whether and in contrast, you have to press buttons, and if you miss your button press, then you fail the mission. But I've learned from Until Dawn, all the missions, it's the controller is so sensitive that it would fail you even when you don't do something. So the best option was to do the whole breathing thing, and I believe that's the 4.1 I want to give to it. Now the 4.2 will have to do, but regards to I stated stuff with regards to the metal and the detail within the metal. Not just fabric, not just clothing and realism of it, but the detail of the metals as regard to the mechanical aspects of it, its functionality, how it operates as a machine, or how it operates as a generator, or how it operates as a gun, or how it operates as a oscilloscope, or how it operates as a ham radio, or how it operates as a walkie-talkie, or how it operates as a digital headpiece. Do these things operate the way they would during their time periods, or how they would functional when executing the use of that weapons, like how Rachel used the Gatling gun? Did it operate that way? The 50 cal Gatling gun. Pull it back and then go forward. Will it rust? Will it check? Will it jam due to time and temperature and other weather conditions? Yes, it did, and it didn't operate. Do the machine guns they use, do they function like machine guns? Not the way they sound, but do they function like machine guns when you cock it back? When the bullets are flying out of the weapon, when there's the recoil, when there's the muzzle gets heated at the tip of the rifle. Do these things operate and functions the way they are supposed to function in reality? Do when you turn on certain lights, do the lights resonate beyond this epicenter outwards, and it looks like it's getting hotter going from center to outwards. Now you know how color works. Uh, Center color is very white and goes kind of darkish, bluish, then it goes kind of blackish, and then it goes kind of yellowish, and then it goes into a fire state. When it comes to things that based on fuel or gas, that's how gas works when you hit like matches or stuff towards it. It's different from when an explosion hits. It's kind of an instantaneous thing. So the realism of these things are accurate, but not to the point of accuracy that they stay on it for too long for you to observe inaccuracy. Well, yeah, but as far as those things, the realism of objects and everything in the game is they did a great job with regards to that. I think the another game with regards to that that did such a similar thing was Detroit Become Human and Last of Us Part 2. So when it comes to the details of making things look realistic or functions realistic, they got these things down packed. Now, that's the 4.2 in my opinion. The functionalities of weapons as they recoil, the functionality of lights as they turn on and turn off, the functionality of equipment when they heat up or when they cool down, those things work for their time periods. So that's the 4.2. So I'm gonna move forward with the game, increase the volume up to the highest rate because this should be my last upload of this video, I'm on the last leg right now, and I'm gonna have probably a lot of QTEs here, and if I'm lucky, no one dies, but if I'm not, then someone dies. And what I can do, however, I could go and check I could check everything, all my accessible stuff, all my secrets, but I have to do that as I'm playing in the game. So I have to turn the game up and I have to keep everything in the effects. And that's another thing. The effects volume works fantastically. As you change the effects volume, everything increases and decreases, so you could hear dialogue more, so you could hear effects of certain behaviors more. So that's something that's good, but I already spoke on that. So that's the 4.2. I got there. I'm gonna continue the game on, and then I can play and see how things go. I'm gonna keep it solid from now on. Turn down my volume on my headset and move forward. So far, those are the only two things I found with regards to the game that I didn't include before. I'm including it now. But all in all, this is not that great of a game. I mean, people say it's a great game, but it really isn't. In my opinion, Until Dawn, even though that game's kind of old now, not that old, but still old, it still functions far more superiorly than this game. And only certain aspects of the mechanic functions better than that game. And only certain realistic body movement, realistic facial expressions in this one are more superior than that game. Now, when it comes to the story, Until Dawn's story isn't the greatest either, but it's far better than this game. As in regards to not the characters, because the characters in Until Dawn weren't all likable characters. They weren't all good characters, but they function appropriately as who they were. Douchebags function like douchebags, good people function like good people. Every behavior for what these people were supposed to represent were functioned and executed masterfully for what they were supposed to be. Here, most of the characters are forgettable and the story is okay. Whereas Until Dawn, the story was also okay, but it got better as it progressed forward, same as this. But the characters in there were all represented more accurately, and the things that they were doing were all represented more accurately and more independently towards who they were. So they're more memorable than the characters here. That's why that game is more superior when it comes to its story, because they're more memorable in the things that they do and how they behave with regards to the story and with regards to the atmosphere. So here, not so much. So I'm gonna continue the game and see how good or how worse it'll get. I believe the worst is already behind it. It's only the remaining parts of the game, because usually when you go past 75% of a game, everything that they want to cram in there is already crammed in there. Unless they got some I don't know, luck of the draw or a trump card towards the end. Well, I'm going to see.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Those mounds are made of cocoons. Thousands of them. If we set the charges there, they'll all burn.
Shit, they're hatching. We gotta move. Quick. Okay, listen up. We've been hit hard tonight. We lost brothers. Including our own colonel. But now, it's time to get some payback. We plant charges on as many of those clusters as possible and then detonate them remotely. Second those charges go off, we haul ass to the exit. If luck is on our side, we'll do more than fry a few vampires. We'll create a diversion.
If we die here, at least we'll take some of those bastards down with us.
Oh, I forgot to mention, Rachel never got infected on my playthrough. I don't know what decision I made. I don't know how I did it, but I've seen many people had on their playthroughs. Rachel got infected, either one way or the other. She's always got infected. She was infected, she was saved, or she was infected and she had to kill herself, or she was infected and someone killed her. Every playthrough I've seen, everyone who's played this game so far was infected. I don't know how I did it, but my Rachel isn't affected whatsoever at all. And I believe the decision to allow Clarice to fall when she was spelunking or swinging over on the rope, that was the decision that made that happen. Or it was when Clarice interrupted her from the vampire that was about to attack her by attacking the vampire, rather than her saving herself by quick time event. And thus, see, but that one doesn't make sense. If the vampire touched her or even breathed on her, it's more likely that she got infected. So whether Clarice interrupted and saved her, or she saved herself and meet Clarice thereafter, I don't believe that was the turning point where she never got infected. I believe Rachel never got infected because either because Eric died saving her, and through that playthrough Eric died saving her and allowing Clarice to fall when she swung across. Those two connected events led to Rachel never having infections. So this game has a lot more interesting turnarounds and interactions and results of your actions than other games. Even though the menu and the crows don't show it better than I say Until Dawn did, or even the previous game, Little Hope. The crows don't do this game justice. I believe the turnarounds and the ability and decisions of how things are resulting on your playthrough, whether by accident or intentional, gives like a totally different result that you would have never saw. Rachel is totally fine. She doesn't have any infections whatsoever. Or maybe I'm just spitballing and they haven't shown it yet. But she hasn't shown any signs, and she's got to this point right where we are right now, and she's not infected whatsoever or showing any signs of infection. So I truly believe that I accidentally dropped on a new type of outcome that I haven't seen before, that anyone has. And I believe it's by allowing Clarice to fall, or allowing Eric to die and Clarice to fall, both in simultaneous. But I believe the main one is that unable to allow Clarice to be around her for too long, and just being around Clarice for too long probably got her infected. Whereas allowing Clarice to fall on the rope, she was able to not be around her, thus not getting infected. Or secretly, Clarice did do something to her, and it was never seen. She just got infected. But I don't know so far. So far, Rachel seems totally fine, and I totally stumble upon a new type of outcome for her that I'm kind of happy about, because I've seen so many people play this game so far, and every single one they play for shows Rachel infected. So this is brand new to me, and I want to see what the result of this is, and that's why I'm talking about it. So I'll get back to the game.
Okay. Who's going to place the dynamite?
Alright, fuck it. I'll do it.
You're crazy. We'll do it together.
Nah, the more of us down there, the more chances we'll get seen. Take the detonator. If I don't make it...
Nick!
Hear me out. If I don't make it, I want you to blow those charges. Just don't go getting trigger happy on me.
Every step of the way, you keep him radio contact.
And if there's no radio signal?
And I'll pop a flare. See it go up, you hit that detonator.
Be quick and be safe. You hear me, buddy?
I can't make it out.
There's one ahead of him. To his left.
Nick, the cocoons are hatching ahead of you. You gotta move fast.
First dynamite is down. Over.
Which way? Left or right?
Holy shit.
It's getting kinda hairy down there, brother. Why don't you ditch the rest of those charges and head back?
Look at that, man. It's the mud road.
It's too far.
I'm going for it. It's this way, too. too easy.
Oh no. Oh no.
What is it?
There are too many. He's a dead man.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Wait! What will warning him do now? There is no way out.
Hey, how's it looking up there?
Tell him.
They're all over you, man. Hundreds of them.
Means you've got the boss to tell him the truth.
I'm sorry, Nikki. For this? For what happened at that checkpoint?
It's a war, Jason. Bad shit happens. Get out.
Yeah, I call bullshit on that. It was clear and obvious that I pressed it on the right time. I believe that the sensitivity for the third one is so sensitive that it doesn't matter if you're on it, is that if you're not directly on it. So even if you touch it, if you're not directly in the center of it, then it's a fail. So what does that say about that third one? I think that third one is glitchy. There's no way. I'll have to go back on the video and look it over again and see if I pressed directly on it or before it. I believe I pressed directly on it. Not the center of it, but directly on it. And there's nothing in the game that shows that you're supposed to press the center of it. So that might be bullshit. I'm calling it right now.
Nick! Answer me, damn it!
Come on, buddy, let me hear your voice. I'm sorry. Where the fuck is Salim? Those charges were a godsend. Feels like this whole damn place is coming down. Salim, he's still alive. Salim, come in, man. Are you there?
I am surrounded. I'm in real trouble here. Vampires. So many vampires.
You're wrong. Salim is one of us now. Marines don't leave their own behind. You hearing me, Salim?
If I don't make that, tell my son I did everything I could.
Tell him yourself. I'm coming to get you.
Come to join the fun. No. Jason!
Seriously, just throw that thing at me.
I did.
Let's get out of here. Fucking knew you'd make it.
My son is waiting for me. No evil is going to stop me from seeing him again.
Listen up. We're not out of the woods yet. What I see in front of me, you're the best. Fuck that. Best of the best. And we will get home. Hoorah!
Hoorah? Hoorah!
This way! Hurry! Come on, Lieutenant. Shit! Damn it. Shit, I never should have let her go.
Girl just didn't know how to stay dead.
There's a way out!
Where are they?
I don't like it. Why aren't they coming up?
How the hell did we make it through that? Everyone okay?
We're alive. We're fucking alive.
This is Mailman 2-1 to Coyote 2. Are you receiving?
This is Rhino 1-5. Solid copy. We're 5 minutes from your position. Where the hell have you guys been? Over.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome. We fucking did it!
I forgot how bright it is out here.
My home's not far from here. All this time, this was under our feet.
I need a shower, clean clothes, a comfy bed, and a cold beer. No, not again. Until the damn eclipse passes.
You tell me, I don't know shit about space. Contact!
Anyone got any more bright ideas? Is this it? Flares? Where's the ammo?
Fuck it. We use what we got. It's been interesting knowing you.
Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? You're beautiful.
Clear!
Alright, so I knew it. I knew it, I knew it, I knew it. I knew it the moment I got to save Merwin and saw the extension of his existence towards the end. Because either way, no matter how you cut it, Joey was going to die, Merwin was going to die. Those were inevitable. Those were characters, NPC characters in the story that were part of your group, but they weren't intended to survive. The characters who we were introduced and their names were shown, their rank, and what they do. Those were the main characters. Those primary five characters. Merwin wasn't going to survive no matter how you cut it. Clarice wasn't going to survive no matter how you cut it. Joey wasn't going to survive no matter how you cut it, and the Marines that went with them in the helicopter and fell down below weren't going to survive, including the Iraqi soldiers that were with Salim weren't going to survive. So the main five characters were characters that you could use that were going to survive. So technically, I made Merwin survive because I wanted him to survive to the extension of his existence before he was snuffed out by the game itself. Because no matter how you look at it, Merwin's going to die. So there's no way for him to get onto the helicopter and be rescued. So the extent of his existence within the game stopped at the radio. So I made him survive up to the point where the game decided without my decision to kill him off. So technically, Merwin survived. Salim survived. That's who I also wanted to survive. The characters that I really wanted to survive survived. Merwin, because the game executing Merwin by some default wasn't by my choice. So in my mind, Merwin still survived even though the game decides to kill him. 2, Salim survived because of my decisions. And those were the characters I wanted to survive. I wasn't worried Jason survived. I wasn't worried if Rachel survived. I wasn't worried if Eric survived. And I wasn't worried if Nick survived. I only cared about Merwin and Salim. 2 of the most opposite people in the game. One has no respect for anyone, and especially for women. And his morality is at the extreme lowest. The worst you get when it comes to human morality is probably Merwin. Well, he doesn't kill his own colleagues or turn on them. Like, he's not a bad guy. But he's worst of the worst when it comes to, the good guys on the good guys' side. He's willing to kill anyone and doesn't follow any rules or code or religious anything. So, and when it comes to the good guy's side, Salim, I wanted him to survive because he was the total opposite of Merwin. I wanted 2 people who were the opposite of each other to survive because then I'd be able to feel that kind of feeling throughout the game. So, from where I'm standing, I was at a 4.2, 4.3 with regards to the characters that I wanted to survive. Salim, Merwin up to the point Merwin died. So, 4.3. The fun factor from the game up to where it is now, 4.5. I really enjoyed from the time period when I started playing the game to those quick time events with Nick, to the escape, to the quick time events with Rachel, and to Clarice showing up and be able to take her directly off into the abyss, and to see how that played out as a result of her decision. 4.4. 4.5 would be, I like the fact that the creatures came out from the pit at the end when you thought the game was over and it wasn't over. And they had to make a last stand. And when you thought quick time events was over, it wasn't. So that's the 4.5 for me. But beyond that, there's nothing else special I would say with regards to the game. So at the moment, right now, the game is at a 4.5. Now, if I missed certain points originally from the last playthrough and I had the game already at a 4.5 or 4.4 from the last playthrough, I'm just going to add on these additional 5 points onto that. So if I had the game previously at 4.5 when I played from the last one, because I didn't look at it, the video, I'm going to add additional 5 points onto that. So if it was at a 4 right now, it's now at a 4.5. It was at a 4.5 before, it's now additional 5 points to make the game now an official 5. So I'll tell you right now, from my opinion, the game is an actual 5. I don't need to give it an additional 5 more points for it to be a 5. From where I'm standing, from the beginning of the game, characters, story, the environment, sound effects, the particle effects, and everything. With regards to the game and the mechanics, the game is a 5. The devil in the details, the additional stuff, were stuff I was adding later on, such as stuff within scripts, stuff within the gear, such as stuff as flesh tone, skin, such as stuff as clothing, and so on and so forth. I add all of that already, and I added towards the 5. So all of these things included add up to the 5. So I believe that right now I'm at a 4.5 with regards to the game. But if I had it 4.5 before, it's a 5 now. But right now, if I didn't have it before, I still had a 4. It's a 4.5 right now. So I would have to see, in my opinion, when it comes to what the curator has to say and how the game ends, based on everything, if I like it even better. Now, I spoke about atmosphere before, but I didn't speak about overall atmosphere as a total. Color, lights, particle effects, clothing, everything mashed together. So everything mashed together wasn't considered. I did everything as a consideration as individual pieces. But I look at everything as a monotone or as an entire piece or entire art piece, entire visual piece as a whole together, where everything in cohesion together looks a certain way. Just like these candles with these lights and then the black background and the text. Everything in cohesion looks different, though every type of different mechanics is used to create the candles, then create the effects, then create the light, then create the smoke, create the background, then create the saturation, then create the drop shadows, and create the lightings, soft lightings or intense lightings. Everything in cohesion I didn't consider before, so now I'll consider it now. 4.6. With regards from everything in atmospheric part of the game, 4.6. So now the game is at a 4.6. And if it was before, like I said before, I had those 5 points before, it would now be at a 5.1. So it's 4.6, 5.1 right now. So let's see what the creator has to say. Let's see how he ends out the story, and let's see how the rest of the story play out and what the premonitions, certain activities are going to happen at the end of the game and what secrets are unlocked. And I'll give it additional more points for that, or I'll subtract points if I didn't like certain things. Oh yeah, I said 4.6, but damn, I forgot about Rachel. Rachel's character. I had no freaking idea I would have so much fun playing Rachel. She was, to me, by far the worst character in the game. Like, the worst character. Maybe Nick is the worst character. But I believe Rachel will be a good second. Or maybe she is the first. Or maybe it's a toss-up between Eric. No, it's definitely not Eric. It's Rachel or Nick. I believe Nick is the worst character and Rachel is second. But if people like Nick, then I would say, yeah, Rachel's the worst character. But here's the thing. This is why I'm going to give it another point. Based on the decisions of how certain things are executed in the game by what choices you make, the crows state certain tangent lines or alternate lines that were created, directions were made, and those directions led to Rachel not getting infected, led to Carice not getting in touch with anyone or interacting with anyone, led to certain people being with certain people and certain people not being with certain people. So this is a very rare playthrough for me, even though 2 people died. Because Rachel, in most cases, either kills herself, someone kills her, or she gets saved, but she's saved by some fluid that saves her. She never actually goes towards the end of the game and make it with the group. So to get her to do that, it's not something that typically happens. You have to make specific decisions and moral decisions that would lead to the character being saved. And you would not be able to know this at all at any point until the event already happens. That's why I'm going to give the game another point. That's the fun factor with regards to Rachel. So every time I look at Rachel now, I'm happy. I actually like this character now. I actually like the character not because the character is likable, but because my decisions for making the character be something more gravitas than what she is based on my decisions. So now I'm going to give the game a point for that. So I'm now at a 4.7 with regards to the game, or a 5.2 with regards to the game. So I'm slightly above average game so far. So let's see what the creator has to say, and let's see how things are going to play out. But I'm really having fun, and I really enjoy the character Rachel now. It is bizarre. It's very bizarre. It took more than half of the game for me to slowly, gradually start to like Rachel. And I didn't realize it would take Clarice not interacting with the group for me to start liking Rachel based on her decisions. And that's simply based on the decision I made. So kudos to the game for making that fun factor implementation into the game for decision making and to add those things, add those different side stories to make each individual character more greater than what they are. So that's the 4.6 right there for Rachel's character. Now I should give it another point, the 4.7, because that means that applies to every single individual character as well. Nick, Jason, Salim, Eric, not just Rachel. So they took time in order to map out different outcomes in certain activities of each individual, just like Detroit Become Human, for each of these characters. So a lot of homework went into put decisions and different turns and different outcomes and different results and different interactions between each of these 5 individuals. So it wasn't just a story that was beautiful and the characters were acting and different circumstances were acting. There was a lot of different avenues per each individual character. So I'm going to give the game another point for that. Not just for my fun factor with Rachel, but for the overall details for each individual character's path flow that they could go. Like a different tree branch flow, or different directions, alternate route, alternate path on their life that they could go. So right now 4.7 or 5.3. So let's see what Curator has to say, and then I'll end this game off. And let's see how the game ends and what credits and secrets I got.
Freely they stood who stood, and fell who fell. Not bad. You've guided some of your charges to the light, while others have fallen to the darkness. Survival often comes at a great cost, a cost that others sometimes must pay. I look forward to our next encounter. Perhaps I'll choose a story that's a little more homely next time, somewhere you'd be guaranteed of a decent night's sleep. Rest assured, wherever it is, you'll find it extremely hard to leave. Until the next time. You know the way out.
Alright, I didn't like that Curator's part. It wasn't so good. And plus he shook his head towards the end.
You're late, and you look like shit.
I just got off the red eye. What's your excuse?
Good flight?
Oh, shit movie, shit meal, no leg room.
They cram you in the back?
By the toilets.
Nice.
Coffee wasn't so bad, though. Good fucking muffins.
Did you read the brief?
On the flight. How's it going with the analysis team?
The ISG team took heavy losses, but it wasn't a complete disaster. We just had to scrape some of them off the floor.
Poor bastards. And the entities?
Like nothing we've seen before. Kolchak Jason, First Lieutenant, Marine Force Recon.
The best of the best, huh?
Or so they advertised.
Fuck! Now how many times do I have to keep telling you the same damn story?
I understand. However, CENTCOM needs to iron out any irregularities.
Such as? The whole fucking thing was irregular.
Such as why you allied with an enemy combatant?
You weren't fucking there! Those things were ripping us to shreds. I don't give a damn who it was. We needed all the help we could get. I stepped back into that hell to save Salim. And that man was worth 5 of you people. Semper fucking Fi!
And Sergeant K?
Nikki didn't make it.
So they cooperated with an Iraqi soldier down there?
Republican Guard, if you can believe it. Must have made a hell of an impression for Kolchak to go back for him.
I'm dying to meet this guy.
I am not answering any more questions until I see my son.
That's not how we do things around here.
You don't have a clue. Jason came back for me. What does that tell you? Down there, this damn war of yours was over.
I'd like to talk more about the entities.
The vampires.
I'm finding it very hard to believe that you killed those things with that.
Untie me, and I'll show you how I did it.
The analysis team are still pulling specimens from the site. It's carnage down there.
They used dynamite?
We don't know how they got their hands on it.
Shame. His testimony could have been valuable. This is like Winterfold all over again.
Uh-huh. Ah, and here we have Colonel Eric King, our in-house genius. He definitely got more than he bargained for.
Those two were married, right?
In the loosest sense of the word. He felt his death.
Yeah, I've read the report. Wonder if there's more to it than that.
The answer to that died with him. This comes down to Kalis. It mistook the temple for Saddam's weapon depot.
Piece of shit system.
I wouldn't say that. It's been a big find for us. We've been lucky.
This is your definition of lucky?
Well, do you believe me now?
This is Miller. He'll be fully debriefing you.
Debriefing? You need to get your damn priorities straight. Those things are still down there. What are you doing about them?
There will be plenty of time to talk things through. Right now, I suggest you count your blessings that you came through the other side. It's nothing short of a miracle that you survived down there.
I learned not to rely on anyone but myself. I was stronger than them all.
We'll be back shortly.
We still on for next Sunday?
Janet's making hot pot. You bet your ass we're on.
I'll never get used to this job.
Why would you want to?
At least this one was localized.
Small blessings.
So, what do you make of it all?
Doesn't matter what I think. Only thing that matters is controlling the flow of information. As far as the world knows, not a damn thing happened here.
You want to know what it means to be a killer? Think of the most profound thing you've ever done. The most beautiful thing you've ever created. And I promise you, it's nothing compared to watching the life bleed out of someone. To see the fear in their eyes. To feel them pawing at you for release. To hear them pleading, begging. That's true art. That's what you have to be, an artist. I've left my mark on the world. Have you?
Alright, so that's the overall game. So, didn't really like the ending. Don't really know what the whole conversation was about, of why those people were there. I mean, I understand why they're there. I understand why they ask those questions, and I understand the frustration of the characters I play with regards to. It seems to be a story that's playing out that wasn't revealed to the characters. Why do that within the game? Why have them collect certain things and then ask questions about certain things and show that that these people know certain things and certain things about what's going on if you're not going to reveal what they know and why they know it. They could easily have made them not reveal anything whatsoever. Just have them be like until dawn. There's a conversation and not show anything. But I believe they wanted to give the whole idea of continuing the story on. I mean, this is, as I said before, season one finale will be the devil in me. Or maybe, yeah, maybe this is the season one finale, and Devil in Me will be the season two introduction. Now it's saying season one. That means this story will continue of the Dark Vision anthology. This story. I'm not sure if A Little Hope will continue. I'm not sure if Man of Medan will continue. But it says there, season one finale. Now, this could be like a Twilight Zone situation where it's not going to be resolved whatsoever. Where it's just a finale of this story, complete, thereon, so on and so forth. We're going to move on to a different part of the anthology, new stories. And if that's the case, then devil's in the details of why these questions were asked towards the end of the game is bad. Not good. So, now 4.6 with regards to that, being the 4.7 with regards to that goes down to a 4.6. And the curator shaking his in confusion when he says, "You know the way out, the door to leave." And his conversation, I thought he would have more to do within this game. He only pops up I guess, every time when your character dies or a certain aspect within the story. So his involvement wasn't that much within the game, and his ending wasn't better than that of Little Hope or of Man of Medan. So that's bad. So now I'm back down to a 4.5. So that's this game in a nutshell. I believe I did have this game before at 4.5 before, and today I added like additional points onto the game with regards to that. Now I went over everything with this game, from its text and everything. So right now, in my opinion, this game is a solid 5. Now, if I take myself out of this equation and I consider this from the viewpoint of the audience, of people who look greater into the fun aspects and enjoyment aspects of what they purchase, for the value of what they purchase, did I get what I was paid for? Yes, I think I got what I paid for based on the value of what I paid for. Now, I got it kind of like on sale, so I believe I got it based on that sale. I got value for that. Now, when this game originally came out, it was pretty much high. This game does not worth the value of that original market price of which it was selling for. So I'm going to deduct another point from that game with regards to the it's actually selling. Now, I could say I shouldn't deduct it, and I give it back a point. Now I'm thinking about it, is because the amount of detail in this game is a lot. The realism is a lot. The story is a lot. Even if this is not one of those games that you could do a lot of mechanics with your movements, a lot of flipping and backflipping and running and jumping and climbing and searching and hooking and spelunking and doing all kinds of stuff with your weapons and then dodging bullets and all this other stuff other games have. All this other climbing mechanics, activities, weapon upgrades, all those things that other games have. It's not present in here. But what's present is a very, very detailed, graphically designed, visually stunning game, because it is compared to Little Hope, compared to compared to Until Dawn. Visually, the details are much higher, and obviously it should be because as game progresses forward, visual gets higher. This is an interactive movie or an interactive game, so the mechanical game aspects of the game isn't primarily there. The cinematic aspect of the game is on the forefront. So it succeeded in what it was supposed to do, for the value of what it was supposed to do. So if it originally was a $50 or $60 game, that's no good. If it was originally a 40 to 40, 30 to a 40 price game, then, or anywhere from 30 to like a 45, then it succeeded what it was supposed to do. If it didn't go beyond the 50 price range, then it succeeded what it was supposed to do. Or should I say, if it didn't go beyond the 40 or 45 price range, then it succeeded what it was supposed to do when it originally came out. But if it was 50 or 60, it's not valued at. There's the mechanics of the actually what makes a game isn't there. So I believe this game failed in that aspect if it was beyond $50 or $50 when it originally came out. So I have to take a point off with regards to that. Like I said, and that would get me back down to a 4.9. So, in my opinion, overall, this game is a 4.9, a 4.95. That's well, actually, I might have missed something within the game, and I looked at everything within the game. I looked at the color of the theme for the game. I looked at the rollovers. I looked at the text that was using, the type of font, the font text that was using. Actually, I didn't state specifically why they chose that font. So I guess I could give it a point for why they chose the font they chose to work with this game. And it works, and it did its job. I believe if they had used Man of the Dance font, it would have been fine. Or if they would use Little Host font, it would have been fine. Or if they were used Until Dawn font, that would have been fine. That's why I didn't include the font. But the color theme, the atmospheric tone, the movement of anatomy, the clothing realism, clothing detail, metal realism, metal functions, clothing functions, voice acting, that there was no background noise when the effects were happening, such as key rattling and stuff that you would see in Al Clean's gun and stuff, historic realism, sort accuracy, details of background art was also considered. Building models and how they were modeled based on realism of locations of Middle Eastern locations, Syria, Iraq, so on and so forth, Iran. How those buildings look, especially in Iraq. Um, how water functions, how sand functions, particle effects, color contrast with regards to manipulation on buildings, and how color is contrasted based on the type of color from the sun or from other reflected color bouncing off other colors onto objects and onto filaments within the environment or grain functions like grain effects of the atmosphere and grain effects on objects and effects of light, fire, and smoke. Those things were also considered. And drop shadows were considered as well. That's why I say this game is a 5. And shade and shadows were also considered as well as decision that characters make for executing certain paths within the story from beginning to end, and the various different paths that they would have, not just the straight one path, one or two or three paths, but they had multiple paths per each individuals moving forward as you contribute, as you go through the game. The butterfly effect stuff wasn't that great. Um, I would say it works better in Until Dawn, and the minuses started to happen based on that. The design of the butterfly effect, the design of collectibles, the design of certain realism on the clothes, like shirt doesn't tuck nicely around the curator's vest. The shirt usually sags downwards rather than go upwards or just stay right in the middle. Like all these little minute details are things that I was looking at. That's why I made sure I looked at everything. Characters such as Merwin's, characters such as Joey, why they were in the story, what part did they play with regards to everything else in the story, how the story was playing out from the beginning to the end, with the beginning of the Mesopotamia, Akkadian Empire, how the gods and everything and the lore factor into it. Who might these creatures be? And the fact that they're associated with vampires from um, after Christ's time, but in the story it shows that the vampires were something that was considered pre-Christ time. And those things were also considered as well. And the fact that the vampires aren't even vampires, or they are, but they're not even from this planet, that they're from a different planet. And that they're not only from a different planet, is that they're technically not vampires. There's something turned them into vampires, a type of disease or a type of plague or a type of being or creature or uh, type of compound or living organism that turns things into what it is. Like you say, like let's say actual intelligent creature is a puff of smoke, but it doesn't have form and physical form like people. But that puff of smoke is very much alive, very much understands what's around them. But in order for it to actually move like living organism, like living creatures, it has to first get inside those organisms, first turn them into what it is, and then it'll be able to see things the way people who are in physical form sees. But by no mistake, it is less than actually things that are in physical form. So that could have been what those are. So that was also considered with regards to this name. Maybe the disease was intelligent in and of itself, or maybe it was just simply a disease that happened and then turned them into vampires. But I like the fact that they were aliens. I like the fact that they were aliens, that they came from a distant planet, different star. And the place that they came from was a place that was considered uh, an ecliptic part of history, ecliptic part of Akkadian history, as Akkadians write it down within eclipse, such as Anu, such as Anunnaki, and their spawning after. Everything that has to do with historical references was associated within this game to a very small point, not high detail, but it was included and it was accurate. how accurate it wasn't that greatly accurate, but it was still accurate nonetheless. And it was twisted in certain ways to make the story more interesting. So consider all these things with regards to the game. I would say the game is about a 5 in my opinion. Now, if I remove myself, like I said again, if I remove myself out of the equations, I say this for every game, remove myself out of my skin and place it into the skin of others, of an audience watching this as a movie or playing this as a group of friends or so on and so forth. I would say this game is a 6. So I'm giving it 9 additional points to make it a 6. That's point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, point 6, point 7, point 8, point 9, and then 10 to make it a 6. So I believe this game is a 6, but nothing more than a 6. Not a 6.1, not a 6.2. I believe that I was right before that this game fall into the 5.8 to 6 category. In my opinion, the game is a straight up 5. For my only opinion, as based on everything I saw, based on everything I did, is a straight up 5. Nothing more than a 5. It would have fallen below average game in comparison to everything within the Dark Pictures anthology. It would have been below 5, but in my opinion, Man of Medan is below 5. It's 4.5 in my opinion. That's Man of Medan falls in is a 4.5 for me, and Little Hope is around the same as this game because Little Hope had a lot of things going that made it good. That you wanted to invest in what was happening with each character, though it fell short towards the end. So, as a story wise, I believe this is a better story than Little Hope overall with connections towards historical events. But as a story wise with connections towards individuals trying to survive, it was working better in Little Hope. That's why I say Little Hope, a game, although story wise, they're both kind of the same. But this slightly goes over Little Hope just a little with regards to story. So if I really can't put Little Hope to be better than this, I have to put this to be better than Little Hope. This can't be 5 like I did for Little Hope. This has to be a 5.1. It has to be. Because this is just slightly better than Little Hope. So that's my opinion for this game. It's a 5.1. That means this game is a 6.1 overall outside of my own judgment if I was looking at it from an audience point of view. So 6.1 for the overall value of this game outside of my own self. 5.1 for my individual opinion with regards to the game. So the thing that was a saving grace for this was the different avenues that you could get per each character. And they had multiple per each character that you could go based on decisions. So that's what I got to say with regards to this game. It's not that great of a game. It's just slightly above Little Hope. Just slightly. I mean, you could jot this thing up to about 2 or 3 more points, but it would still be below 5.5. So I don't know what the hell Metacritic and the rest of these people are on, what drugs they be smoking and whatever the hell points they give. But they just throw those things out like sometimes Metacritic and the rest of these people like GameFAQs, Game Informer are accurate, but sometimes they're wildly off. Sometimes you gotta think like, did they do their actual homework and look at things in detail? So I don't know. That's why I give my opinions with regards to the game, even though no one's paying me to do this. Because I know half, like more than half, actually I would say a good 80% of everyone who gives opinion on game reviews are full of shit. So I'd rather people hear an honest truth from some guy who is not even getting paid to do any of it to get it, rather than to someone to bullshit just because they're worrying about losing subscribers or not. Man, kiss my ass with that. You either tell it the truth or not. You want to do stuff for business, then you're doing stuff for business. And eventually people will just gravitate towards those who are telling the truth in the end. And they'll see it for themselves through the videos themselves, such as Rachel's ending was phenomenal because I had no idea she had an alternate direction that she could go to her survival. thought she only had like 2 or 3. One, she kills herself. 2, she gets saved and gets saved in the ooze that keep her alive. Or 3, someone murks her. So I like that. I like that a lot. So 5.1. That's my opinion for House of Ashes. 5.1 game. Personal. 5 for Little Hope. And 4.5 for Man of Medan. That's how I rate it. Taking myself out of the equation and looking myself in the viewer. 6.1. So, I don't know. I'm not just going to throw up points like it's cookies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hell no. I'm going to do things from point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5. Kiss my ass with all that. I am not doing that. This game has to be done correctly, or all games has to be done correctly. You gotta look at all aspects. And maybe I don't look at every single thing, but I'm pretty sure I look at every single thing. I might have missed 1 or 2, but that's the whole reason why I gave the game a 6.1. That full additional 10 points. Point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, so on until it gets to 10. I give it a full 10 points because I might have missed 10 things. And I looked at every single thing within this game from the beginning. And I spoke on everything I could possibly find. And maybe I jumped the gun on certain points, and maybe I was back on certain points, but that's the whole point of where those additional 10 points come from. If I missed something, or if there are more details, or if I didn't consider something. So that's even if I didn't consider something, or I did consider something, I believe this game is a 6.1 overall. Nothing higher than a 6.1. And a 5.1 in my opinion as an individual. So if you see something, someone says this game is a 6 or 6.1, that person is accurately telling the truth. If someone says this game is a 7 or 8, that person is bold out lying to you. Straight up. Because they didn't look into the devils and the details. So that's it. That's my playthrough for Man of Medan. I'm going to check out what Easter eggs and goodies, and if I get any Easter eggs, and if I get any goodies, I'm going to consider that as well. Actually, you know what? I know for a fact that this game has replay value. But I'll throw those replay value into the fact that I didn't touch on the point of replay value whatsoever at all, because I'm not going to replay it. It's going to be added into those 10 additional points I gave to the game without knowing what those 10 things are associated with. So the game got 10 free replay values added into that as one of those 10 things. And secrets found is added into one of those things as well. So let's see. Did we find any secrets? Collectibles, bonus features. Let's see what bonus feature has to show. Okay, so I unlocked all bonus features, but I did not unlock this because I guess a guy, he didn't survive, so I didn't unlock this. So the next one I would have to unlock if I was able to make certain characters survive. So bonus features are unlocked with regards to that. But I already considered bonus features within the game. I want to see what other secrets are within the game. Collectibles. Okay, these are all the premonitions. Alright, I missed one, so I missed the premonition. That's fine. That was also considered within the game. Anthology. Is it going to still show me the different games? Okay. It's not going to show Devil Within because I cannot access it. So obviously it's not going to show me something I can't access. The Devil in Me won't be shown because I can't access it. So far, the game does have a replay value. Probably of 1. Like if you want to replay this game again, you can play it again to see a different ending. But this game doesn't seem to be something that you want to play a 3rd time or even a 4th time. This game is simply something you want to replay to get the remaining of all your collectibles and stuff accomplished and done with. So it has a replay value of 1 in my opinion. Because I'm not interested in playing this game again at all. Someone will have to make me play this game again, simply for the fact of collectibles, not for the story or anything else. So I believe this game has a replay value of 1. So that gets the game now up to 6.2. There's a collectibles, bonus features, all that stuff was considered before. So 6.2. That's it. 5.2 from, in my opinion, for this game. 6.2 overall. Anyone else have anything that goes in 7, 8, 9 category, saying this game is 7 or 8 or 9? I personally are both very flat. That's my opinion on House of Ashes. I'm out.